You want to know the secret to bench pressing more weight? One of my top tips: do the bench press more often. I'm dead serious. I know some of you guys are thinking, yo, that's a shitty, piece of advice. I know guys that bench press 3-4 times a week and they're seeing absolutely no results. My answer to that would be, it depends on what you do. When I say you should bench press more often, this applies to all major movements. If you want to squat more, you gotta keep squatting more often. Deadlift more often. The problem lies in what you choose to do with those deadlifts. We're talking about load, volume, set, reps, and we're talking about the type of deadlift, the type of movement you're doing. Because remember, there's a million different types of bench press. So if you want to increase your bench press, you should take a look at where your failing point is. Do you have weak triceps, so you fail at the top of the lockout? Can you not get it off the bottom, so you got poor bottom drive, you don't have a strong enough chest? You got to analyze where you're weak, and then choose to do the movement that most resembles where you're weak. In other words, the movement that's going to help you out the most. How to get stronger on the bench press? That's a question. I don't have the answer. I'm asking you. Let's use the example of triceps. Guys that have poor triceps, I'd say out of the 3 muscles, probably my triceps are the weakest when it comes to the bench press. So if you look at your triceps and you think, oh man, I just can't lock it out. Well, guess what, son? You should bench press, as I said, more often, so at least twice a week. And in that second session, give a greater emphasis on pressing with your triceps. This means close grip bench press, means dips, skull crushers, means neutral grip dumbbell presses, all movements that are going to help assist building that lockout strength. You could apply this to all movements. You want to deadlift more weight and you're shitty off the bottom, you just can't rip it off the floor. Well, son, you probably have, bad hip drive going on there. So you can do a couple different variations, but one that's really easy is just a deadlift from a deficit. So you're standing on top of a box, so now the weight's even lower, you'll have to explode faster off that bottom position. All movements are about analyzing where you're weak, coming up with a solution by finding out the movements that work right for you, and doing this over time. I know a lot of guys think they're the shit, like their shit don't stink, but if you take a look at the form, and I've taken a look now online at probably over 300 videos of guys sending me, yo, Chef Buff, critique my form, I'll say the lowest hanging fruit from the tree is everyone can improve upon their form. Your form is not perfect. This is why when you lift on the major movements, on, once again, the bench press, when you lift that weight, it feels shaky and you see that little instability going on. You don't have that total body tension, you don't have the technique down. So the back's not tight, you don't have that stable base to bench off of, push off of, so you're kind of rocking back and forth. How do you get better at doing something? Doing it correctly more often. So get your technique down, make sure it's solid, and then do that technique more often. I'm not saying, train to failure. That's the other mistake I'll see a lot of guys do. Guys that might bench 3 times a week, right? Because they want a bigger chest. As they'll routinely go to failure. I'm talking about smart programming. Any given day, you should never reach failure. Chase performance. This means analyzing your reps, how they look, how they feel, and always having at least 1 to 2 reps left in the tank for every single set. To wrap this shit up in a nice little bow tie, if you want to become stronger in one movement, you got to master the form. We know this. You got to find out where you're weak, analyze that, and then you got to do it more often. So you got to make sure, once again, triceps, if they're weak, dedicate another day to improving your triceps when it comes to pressing, so that close grip bench. Doing this over time, mastering your technique, and learning the proper mind-muscle connection by handling more total volume will make you stronger in the long term. If you're unsatisfied with the gains that you're making, it probably comes down to improper programming. You gotta take a look at the big picture. Find out what you need to improve upon, and then fix it. This video might have sounded simple, but are you doing what I said? Thank you, as always, for watching my videos. Make sure to like, share with friends, and subscribe. Buff Army, how many times do you bench press? Post in the comment section below. I'll tell you my answer right now. 8 days a week.